are looking at inequalities in triangles. So first off, we're going to compare angles and sides of triangles. What this first one says is that if you know that the length of AB is greater than length of BC, so AB is longer than BC, that means that you know that the angle across from AB, which is angle C, so the measure of angle C is greater than the measure across of the angle across from BC, which is angle A. So the measure of angle C is greater than the measure of angle A. We know the converse of that is true as well. So if angle Z, which is this angle down here, is our larger angle compared to angle Y, that means the side across from angle Z, which is XY, is going to be greater than the side across from angle Y, which is segment XZ. On our next examples, that's what we want to do. We want to compare our sides from smallest to largest, and then compare our angles. So our smallest side was GJ, middle side is GH, and longest side is HJ. The angle across from our smallest side is angle H. Angle across from our middle length side is angle J. And the angle across from our largest side is angle G. Our next one, we need to compare our angles first, so we need to find the missing angle in our triangle. Remember, to find your missing angle in your triangle, you add the two angles that you know together. And then you subtract that from 180. Which gives us 87 degrees here. And then we need to compare our angles. Our smallest angle is angle L. Our middle-sized angle is angle K. And our largest angle is angle M. So across from angle L is KM. Across from angle K is LM. And across from angle M is KL. Then we have the triangle inequality theorem, which says that any two sides added together have to be greater than the third side. What you really have to check is the two short sides have to add and be greater than the longest side. So on the next couple problems, make sure that you are adding your smallest numbers together and check and see that it is greater than the largest number. If it is, you have a triangle. If it's not, you don't have a triangle. So on this one, our smallest numbers are 3 and 5. We're going to add those together and see if it's greater than 7. 3 plus 5 is 8, and 8 is greater than 7. So this can be a triangle. On our next one, our two smallest numbers are 4 and 6.5. So we're going to add those together and see if it's greater than 11. 6.5 plus 4 is 10.5. 10.5 is not greater than 11, so this cannot be a triangle. And then on our next one, our two smallest numbers are 3 and 3, so we're going to add those together and see if it's greater than 6, and 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 is not greater than 6, so again, this cannot be a triangle. On the next one, the lengths of two sides of the triangle are 6 centimeters and 11 centimeters. We want to find the range of possible lengths for the third side. So when you have a range, you have a lower number, less than x, less than a higher number. That's what a range is going to look like in this class. So we need to find the lower number first, and that means we're going to subtract 11 minus 6, and that gives us 5. So our lower number is 5 centimeters, and then we need to add the two numbers that were given together. 11 plus 6 is 17 centimeters, and that gives us our higher number. So our range is 5 centimeters is less than x, which is less than 17 centimeters. Next up, we are comparing angles and sides in two triangles. You have to have two sides that are congruent in order to do this, and then you can compare your last side and the angle that's being made by the two sides that are congruent. So in this, it says that angle A is greater than angle D. So angle A is the larger angle comparison to angle D. That means that the side across from angle A, which is BC, is larger than the side that's across from angle D, which is EF. So the length of BC is greater than the length of EF. We know that the converse of this is true as well. Our next one says that the length of GH is greater than the length of KL. So that means that the angle that's across from GH, which is angle J, is greater than the angle that's measure of the angle that's across from KL, which is angle M. So angle J's measure is greater than the measure of angle M. So that's what we're going to do on our next set of examples. We want to compare the measure of angle PQS and the measure of angle RQS. So the measure of angle PQS is dealing with that 5.3, and the measure of angle RQS is dealing with that 5.1, which of those is larger? 5.3 is larger, which means that angle PQS is the larger angle, and angle PQS is greater than the measure of angle RQS. On the next one, we're comparing the lengths of KL and MN. And KL is across from 53 degrees, and MN is across from 57 degrees. 57 degrees is the larger angle, meaning the side across from it is larger, and MN is larger. So that means that KL is less than MN. Our next one, we want a range of values for angle Z. Again, remember that a range, you're going to have a lower number is less than X is less than a higher number. And we have information in angles. So this goes with the 24, and the 45 is across from the 25. And that means that the 45 degrees is the larger angle. and 6z minus 3 is less than 45 degrees. So this sets us up to find our upper value. We need to find our lower value at the same time. Every time the left-hand side is going to be 0, because in order to be a side or an angle, it has to be greater than 0. Then we're going to solve like we would any other problem. We're going to add 3 to all of the different parts. So 3 is less than 6z, which is less than 48. And then we're going to divide by 6 on all 3 parts. That gets us 1/2 is less than z, which is less than 8. And that is our answer. And our last problem on the notes, the angle of the swings in a circular swing ride changes with the speed of the ride. Which rider is farther from the base of the swing tower? So we know that the tower itself is congruent and the length of that rope is congruent. What's changing is our angle measure here and this distance down here. And angle B, the angle on B is larger, which means that rider B is further away from the tower. Now onto the guided practice for inequalities in triangles. So on the first one, we want to write the angles in order from smallest to largest, which again means we need to order our sides in order from smallest to largest. So our smallest side is PQ, our middle side is QR, and our longest side is PR. Across from our smallest side is angle R, so that's our smallest angle. Across from our middle length side is angle P, so that's our middle angle. And across from our largest side is angle Q, and that's our largest angle. Then on to the next one, we want to write the sides in order from shortest to longest, which means we need to find our missing angle. So again, add your two angles together and subtract, which you get from 180. We get 95 degrees. And then we need to order our angles in order from smallest to largest, because we want shortest to longest. So angle X is our smallest angle, angle Y is our middle length angle, and angle Z is our longest angle. Across from angle X, our smallest angle is YZ. Across from our middle length angle, which is angle Y, is XZ. And across from our largest angle, angle Z, is XY. Number 3, the lengths of two sides of a triangle are given. Find the range of possible lengths for the third side. So we need to take and add these two together. And that gets us 20 millimeters. And that's our higher end. And we need to take and subtract these from each other. And that gets us 4 millimeters. So our answer is 4 millimeters is less than X, which is less than 20 millimeters. Our next two problems, it says draw a picture for each, and we should be drawing a triangle, and we need to label it. So in triangle DEF, so we have triangle DEF. DE is 8 inches, EF is 6 inches, and DF is 10 inches, which lists the angles in order from smallest to largest. So we need to order our sides from smallest to largest. EF is our smallest, which means angle D is our smallest angle. DE is our middle length side, which means angle F is our middle angle. And DF is our longest side, which means angle E is our largest angle. Which one matches? That is D. Then on our next one, we need again to draw a triangle. We have triangle ABC, and angle C is less than angle B, and angle B is less than angle A, which means angle C is our smallest angle, angle B is our middle-sized angle, and angle A is our largest angle. This means that AB is our smallest side, BC is our longest side because it's across from our longest angle, and AB is our middle length side because it's across from the middle size angle. So AB is our smallest one, BC is our largest one. And that gives us F. Next up, we want to compare the measures of angle SRT and the measure of angle QRT. So the measure of angle SRT matches up with 4. The measure of angle QRT matches up with 3. Which one's larger? That 4. Which means that angle SRT is greater than angle QRT. Our next one, we're looking to compare KL and KN. KL is across from this symbol. What does that symbol mean? 90 degrees. So KL is across from 90 degrees, and KN is across from 70 degrees. That 90 is larger, so that means that KL is larger. KL is greater than KN. And our last one, again, we want a range of possible values. So again, that's a number is less than your variable, which is less than your highest number. And we need to look at what we have. And we have 53 is across from 5x minus 6, and 62 is across from 9. 62 is the larger angle, which means 9 is the larger side. That means we put 5x minus 6 is less than 9. And remember, the lower end is always going to be 0. Then we solve like we would normally, add 6 to everything. So you have 6 is less than 5x, which is less than not 9, which is less than 15. Then we divide everything by 5. So that gets us 6/5 is less than x, which is less than 3.